Everything you experience in life is the manifestation of your inner state. The challenges, the breakthroughs, the aha moments of uncertainty, all of it is a reflection of what you assume to be true. But understand this: God did not bring you this far to leave you. The very fact that you have come this far is proof that a higher power is at work within you. Faith is not about wishing things will work out. Faith is knowing that the journey you are on is already complete in the unseen. The obstacles before you, they are merely the shadows of old beliefs, fading away as you step into the truth of who you are. The power of God is not somewhere outside of you, it is within. It is the great I am, the divine force that shapes your reality. If he has carried you this far, then he has already made a way for you. Your only task is to trust, to persist, and to live in the end knowing that what you seek is already yours. Everything you experience in life, whether good or bad, is not random. It is the direct manifestation of your inner state, the product of your thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions. The world outside of you is merely a reflection of what you hold as true within. This is the law of consciousness, the divine principle that governs all creation. What you accept in your imagination becomes your reality, and what you persist in assuming will eventually take form in the physical world. You are not at the mercy of circumstances, you are the creator of them. If you have come this far, it is because something within you has called you forward, something greater than the doubts, the fears, and the obstacles that tried to stop you. Understand this: God has never worked outside of you. He works through you, through the power of your own awareness. When Scripture tells you that you are made in the image and likeness of God, it is revealing a profound truth. The creative power of the divine is within your consciousness. Every thought you dwell upon, every belief you accept as true, and every feeling you sustain becomes the blueprint for your external world. The experiences you face today are not the result of chance or luck. They are the outpicturing of past assumptions. And if you find yourself in a place of difficulty, it is not because God has abandoned you. It is simply because you are being called to shift your inner state, to assume a higher truth, to align yourself with the reality you truly desire. There is no such thing as failure in the journey of faith, only the unfolding of what you have accepted within. If you look around and see struggle, it is not a sign that you are lost. It is a sign that an old state of being is dissolving to make way for something new. Every challenge is a mirror reflecting the limitations you once believed in. But just as you unconsciously created struggle, you can just as easily create success, abundance, and peace. The moment you change your assumption, the moment you begin to see yourself as already victorious, the world must follow. This is why you must not be deceived by appearances. What you see today is not the final word on your life. The delays, the setbacks, the seeming failures, these are but illusions, shadows cast by past thoughts. They have no real power except the power you give them. God has brought you this far not to leave you stranded, but to awaken you to the truth. You are the operant power. The same force that created the stars, the galaxies, and the heavens is within you, shaping your destiny through the images you hold in your mind. When you grasp this, everything changes. You stop feeling like a victim of life and step into the role of a creator. You realize that faith is not just believing in something external. It is knowing that what you imagine already exists in the unseen, waiting for you to accept it. You stop asking whether things will work out and start assuming that they already have. You stop pleading with God for answers and start thanking Him for what is already yours. The world will try to convince you otherwise. It will present you with temporary evidence that contradicts your desires. But do not be moved by what you see. Stand firm in what you know. The reality you wish to experience is already unfolding, even if you cannot yet see it with your physical eyes. God did not bring you this far to let you fail. He brought you here to awaken you, to remind you that everything you seek is already within you. Change your assumption, shift your inner state, and watch as the world bends to reflect the new truth you have accepted. Faith is not a fragile wish. a fleeting hope that things might work out if circumstances allow. Faith is certainty, a deep, unwavering knowing that what you have assumed is already real, even if your physical senses do not yet confirm it. Most people live their lives waiting for proof before they believe, but that is not how creation works. To walk in faith means to accept your desire as fact before it becomes visible, to move with absolute confidence in the unseen, knowing that what is true in imagination must manifest in reality. This is why Scripture tells us that faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. It is not about wishful thinking or blind optimism. It is the very force that brings the invisible into the visible. The world teaches you to react to what you see, but faith teaches you to create what you see. It is not passive, it is active, deliberate, and powerful. It is the recognition that all things exist in the unseen realm, and that your assumption is the key that calls them forth into experience. The moment you accept something as true in consciousness, it begins to take form, even if the world around you gives no indication of change. Most people struggle because they waver between faith and doubt. They affirm their desires one moment but question them the next. They allow circumstances to dictate their beliefs rather than holding steadfast to their inner vision. For the law is simple. What you persist in assuming, you will experience. If you believe in lack, lack will appear. If you believe in abundance, abundance will unfold. The world is only a mirror reflecting your inner convictions, and it cannot fail to bring forth what you have accepted as real. This is why faith must be absolute. There can be no room for hesitation, no room for second guessing. You must step into the version of yourself that already has what you desire and refuse to accept anything less. The reason many fail to manifest their desires is not because their dreams are impossible, but because they do not fully believe. They allow fear to creep in, wondering if their prayers will be answered, questioning whether they are worthy of the life they long for. But faith does not ask for permission. Faith declares what is true and stands on that truth without compromise. To walk in faith is to know that the moment you assume something in imagination, it is done. There is no need to beg, no need to plead, only the need to persist. This is where most people fall short. They start in faith, but give up when they do not see immediate results. They plant the seed, but fail to nurture it, allowing doubt to uproot what was meant to grow. But faith is not about seeing results instantly. It is about knowing that the results are inevitable. Just as a seed does not sprout the moment it is planted, your desires will not always appear the moment you assume them. But if you persist, if you refuse to be moved by appearances, the harvest will come. It has no choice but to come, because the law is unfailing. This is why Jesus said, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it and it will be yours. The world teaches you to believe after you see, but the divine law teaches you to see because you believe. The moment you assume your desire is already fulfilled, it begins to move toward you. Every event, every circumstance, every so-called coincidence rearranges itself in response to your conviction. There is no power in the universe that can oppose the one who truly walks in faith. When you reach this level of certainty, life becomes effortless. You no longer struggle, you no longer fear, you simply rest in the knowing that what you have assumed is already yours. The obstacles you face in life are not external forces working against you. They are merely reflections of the beliefs you have held onto, some consciously, some unconsciously. Every challenge, every delay, every seeming setback is nothing more than a shadow cast by an old state of mind. The good news is that shadows have no substance of their own. They only exist as long as you give them attention. The moment you shift your awareness, the moment you align yourself with a new assumption, the obstacle must dissolve. This is the divine law at work. What you persist in believing will continue to appear, and what you release will fade away. Many people see obstacles as signs that they are on the wrong path, but this is not true. When you embark on a journey of transformation, when you dare to believe in something greater than what your past has shown you, your old self will resist. It will bring up doubts, fears, and limitations that have long been buried in your subconscious. This is not happening to stop you, it is happening to test your commitment. Will you hold on to your vision, or will you let appearances dictate your fate? Those who understand the power of faith know that obstacles are not signs of failure, but signs that their inner world is shifting. Think of it this way. When you begin to assume a new reality, your world must rearrange itself to reflect that assumption. But before the new can fully take form, the old must dissolve. This often looks like chaos, like things getting worse before they get better. It is tempting to give up in these moments, to think that you were mistaken in believing for something greater. But this is where persistence matters most. The storm only appears when the old foundation is being torn down to make way for the new. If you remain firm in your assumption, the storm will pass and you will step into the life you have claimed. Fear and doubt will try to convince you that the obstacle is real, that the challenge before you is too great to overcome. But remember, the only thing making it real is your continued belief in it. The moment you stop accepting it as an immovable force, it loses its power. When Jesus told his followers that if they had faith the size of a mustard seed, they could move mountains, he was not speaking in metaphor. He was revealing the nature of reality itself. The mountain before you is not physical, it is mental. It is built from years of conditioned thinking, from old assumptions that you have carried without question. And like any thought, it can be replaced. If you want to move beyond the obstacles in your life, stop engaging with them, stop speaking about them, stop worrying about them, stop giving them your energy. Instead, turn your attention to the reality you desire. Live in that state as if it is already true. Speak from it, think from it, feel from it. As you do this, the obstacles will begin to shrink, not because you fought against them, but because you outgrew them. This is why those who walk by faith seem unshaken by difficulties. They understand that nothing in the external world is permanent. It is all fluid, all subject to change. The only constant is the truth that whatever you assume as real in consciousness must express itself in your world. When an obstacle arises, they do not react with fear, they reaffirm their vision. They remind themselves that the challenge is not something to be feared, but something to be transcended. God did not bring you this far to let obstacles stop you. The very fact that you are facing resistance means that you are close to a breakthrough. The darkness always fights hardest just before the dawn. But you are not bound by the darkness. You are the light that dispels it. Hold fast to your faith, persist in your vision, and watch as the obstacles that once seemed impossible vanish before you. God is not some distant force sitting outside of you, watching over your life from afar. He is not a separate entity dictating your fate while you remain powerless. The greatest truth ever revealed is that God is within you. His power, his wisdom, his creative force, it all resides in your own consciousness. When Moses asked God for his name, the answer was simple yet profound. I am. This is the name of the divine. And it is also the name you use to define yourself in every moment. Whatever follows your I am shapes your reality, for God expresses himself through your awareness of being. Most people have been conditioned to look for God outside of themselves. They pray to a force they believe is far away, hoping he will intervene in their lives. But this misunderstanding keeps them in a state of separation, always waiting for something outside of them to change. The truth is that God is your own wonderful human imagination, the creative power that brings all things into being. When you understand this, you no longer beg for change. You assume the change within, knowing that the world must follow. The challenges you face, the struggles that seem impossible, are not signs that God has abandoned you. They are simply reflections of the assumptions you have accepted in the past. If you believe in lack, you will see lack. If you believe in struggle, struggle will appear. But if you recognize that the power of the I am is within you, then you understand that you have the ability to shift your reality at any moment. The key is to take responsibility for your inner state, for nothing happens to you that does not first happen within you. Jesus did not perform miracles by calling on an external force. He simply knew who he was. He did not see sickness and despair as permanent. He saw beyond them. When he declared, I and my Father are one, he was revealing the secret that the divine and the self are inseparable. The moment you accept this truth, you stepped into your power. You stop waiting for change to come from the outside and instead command the change from within. Every time you affirm, I am, followed by a statement, you are setting a cause into motion. If you say, I am strong, strength must follow. If you say, I am abundant, abundance will take form. But if you say, I am struggling, you unknowingly declare that struggle must continue. Your words, your beliefs, your feelings, all of them are prayers, whether you realize it or not. The universe is not responding to what you want, it is responding to what you assume to be true.